hearty chicken tortilla soup. And stay tuned for a bonus recipe. Hi friends, welcome to Cooking Live with Lala. I'm Lala. I'm a home cook, professional baker, and plant-based eater. Whether you are also plant-based or just trying to get more plants into your diet, this show is for you. Let's start cooking. We are starting with our chicken tortilla soup because that's the only recipe we're making today. So I'm going to chop some onions. This recipe calls for 1 medium onion, but my onion was so big that I decided just to use half of this giant onion. People, when you cut an onion, if you keep the root intact, then the whole onion will stay together while you cut it. See that? I took all the papers off and it's still together. I'm going to cut it. It's going to stay together. This is a very giant onion for sure. There are lots of different ways to cut an onion. All you have to do is search on YouTube cutting an onion and you will see there are many different ways that people do it. So I'm definitely not going to tell you that my way is the best, but it's the way that I like to do it. This is a giant onion. This soup recipe has a lot of flavor. If you don't like flavor, then this recipe may not be for you. Very flavorful, very bright. I like to check to make sure that all my onion pieces got chopped and I don't have any stragglers that are really big. Even though I do love onion. I am using a sweet onion in this recipe because if you've watched any of my shows, these are the kind of onions that I like. I like sweet onions. I don't cry when I cut sweet onions, and I like the flavor of a sweet onion in almost everything. Sometimes I'll choose a red onion. I love the flavor of a red onion, but the water bags fill up, let me tell you. It is bad. So I'm using a sweet onion. You should use the onion that you like. Got my little pot happening here so you guys can watch this whole recipe cook in real time. This comes together very fast. And minus chopping a couple of vegetables, this is a super easy recipe. You guys could even choose to use a bag of frozen onions and peppers if you want to. Honestly, guys, you should do what works for you. Nobody is living your life except for you. And you should do what you like. I definitely do what I like. You do not have to use a bell pepper in this recipe. As a matter of fact, when I created my version of this recipe, I actually did not put a bell pepper in it, but I had one in the fridge and I was like, why not? This is a super adaptable recipe. You can change out most things for what you like. I mean, you generally probably want it to have a similar flavor profile is the only thing. If you go putting some green beans and mushrooms in here, I don't really think it's going to be a tortilla soup any longer. Back to cutting and chopping my pepper after I just had a meltdown because my burner suddenly wasn't working. It looks like I blew the thing in the pot. So back to this. I'm going to throw in about a tablespoon of olive oil. You do not have to use oil. If you are SOS free, you could use a little bit of water and saute all of this with water. Okay, while that heats up, which I hope that it is. What a day. It's been quite a day. This is my second take of this recipe. I've actually made this food already today. So I have decided to change my programming a little bit for now. Even though what I want to do is have a live video every Thursday, the truth is that I'm having a lot of trouble, not a lot of trouble, some trouble, getting viewers for the live show. So what I've decided to do for now is to have a live show on the second and fourth Thursdays of every month. I will still be releasing a cooking video every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern. So 2 times a month it will be live, and the other Thursdays it will be recorded. But I will still continue to release a video every Thursday. So anyways, I made this earlier today, and I had no audio. I had audio when I played it in a media player. I did not have audio in any of the editing programs. I do not understand it. I don't know what happened. We tried several different ways to fix it. Nothing worked. So here I am making this recipe again. Let's cut some garlic. I am going to do 2 cloves in this. I got my serious knife out because I like to smash this sucker sometimes. And you cannot smash the sucker with, what do you call this kind of knife? Ceramic. You cannot be smashing garlic with a ceramic knife. It will break. Ask me how I know. Facetious, or I was joking. So I'm just going to give this garlic a very good mince. Got a little brown spot happening here. I'm just going to cut that guy off. It's bigger than I wanted him to be. All right. Hope everybody is doing well. It's been a tough day for me, and I've been sick this week, so it's actually been kind of a tough week for me. But here I am, mincing some garlic. This guy over here does not want to cut. I keep trying to cut him, and he keeps flying away. Honestly, for me, I do not care if I have big pieces of garlic in my mouth. I love garlic. Garlic is fantastic. Garlic is life. I'm going to say it. There, I said it. Garlic is life. There's few recipes that I make that don't have garlic. It's just my favorite. Garlic, onions. I love onions in my food. I like flavor. I like a lot of flavor. I like big flavor. Not to say when I cook broccoli that I don't just put salt on it, because I do, because I just like to eat broccoli that way. But when I'm making a soup, I want this to have a lot of flavor. It's been a long day. Sometimes I need my friend. This is a Pinot Grigio, and it's a light wine. It's light. I like it. Lovely. It is light in flavor. It is not a full flavored wine, that's for sure. Alright, I'm going to let this cook just another minute or 2. We're going to add in a lime. I've got this lime right here. It's kind of ugly. It's got some yellow spots and brown spots, but you know what? By squeezing him, I can tell that he's juicy. So I'm going to put half of this sucker in here. A juicy lime holds about 2 tablespoons of juice. So I'm going to put in half because I want about a tablespoon of juice in there. And I'm going to add my seasonings to the pot before I add the liquids. I've got some, let's see, chili, onion powder, cumin, Mexican oregano, garlic, cayenne, did I say cumin? And coriander. So I'm just going to let that heat up for a second. I like between 2 to 3 cups of liquid in this dish. I do not have veggie broth. I make my own and I am out. So I'm using water today. So I've got about 3 cups of water. I'm going to go in with about 2 cups for now, and then I'll have some extra if I need it. You can make this dish as thick or thin as you like. This is kind of a dump and go recipe. So I've got some crushed tomatoes. This is just a Muir Glen variety. You know, it's really hard to make things straight on camera because I never know which way to turn it. Okay. So this is crushed. You could use diced as well. You could use fresh. Use what you like. I always say use what you like. Maybe not an Italian variety. That might be kind of weird. Oh, this is some really beautiful looking sauce. It's not sauce, but this is fire roasted. So I'm hoping it just elevates the flavor. Some chilies. These are also fire roasted. It's hard to see. Fire roasted diced green chilies. This one is mild because I'm adding my own heat. So I'm going to throw that sucker in. You guys can use any type of chilies that you want. God, I hope, did I say that these are diced? I need diced ones. Okay, this is diced. You could even use fresh ones if you want. Make your own dish, you know? Don't I always say to do what you want? This is no different. Do what you want. All right. Next, I've got the equivalent of a can of black beans. These have no seasoning. I'm throwing that in. And I have got about a cup of corn. This is frozen corn. Fresh corn is delicious as well. You could use either. Sometimes I just cut corn right off of the cob and throw that in here. That's delicious. And there's only 2 things left that we need to add. We're going to add some salt in a little bit. You do not have to add salt if you don't use salt. But I'm going to go in with some soy curls. We've talked about this before. I cut off the top so you can't see it, but this is Butler brand soy curls. If you can't find this at a store near you, you can go to the Butler website and you can order that. So I'm going to use about a cup of this. But I'm going to give it a little chop. That looks like about a cup to me. The thing about the soy curls is some of them are big, and these expand when they soak in liquid. So I'm just going to chop some of the bigger ones here into a little bit smaller pieces. I do not want giant pieces of soy curls in my mouth. These will rehydrate in just a couple of minutes. It's going to be very, very fast. You do not have to pre-soak them. As a matter of fact, I don't think you should pre-soak them because if I throw them directly into the soup, they're going to absorb all the great flavors in the soup instead of if I soaked them in water and then they would absorb the flavor of water. I'm going to throw all these crumbs in because these are all going to soak up flavor. We're just going to let that simmer for a minute. It's a little bit thicker than I would like, and it's going to lose a little bit more liquid as the soy curls absorb water, so I'm going to add a little bit more liquid. Like I said, you guys should make this the thickness that you like. Looks good. Turn this up a little bit. All right, I think it's time for bonus recipe. So I decided, I didn't do this in the initial recipe earlier today, but since I had to go to the store to buy new ingredients, I decided I'm going to do a quick guacamole. If you're not making your own guacamole, you are doing it wrong. It's a fact, you're doing it wrong. Guacamole is super easy. I'm going to show you how. So I'm going to use 2 avocados. It's not going to make a ton, but it's going to make enough for tonight. I just wanted to tell you guys that I try to buy avocados that have this little nub on it. See that right there? I have heard that they tend to not brown when that's on, and so far I do find that to be true. I do not know if it's a fact, but it seems to be working for me, so I'm going to keep doing it. Avocado number 1. Whew, nice and green. Let's check avocado number 2. Ooh, this knife just cut right through the seed inside. Also beautiful. I'm just going to pop out the seed. Oh! Wow, that was really hard. And this guy, I'm probably just going to have to fish him out because I don't know what's happening here, but he cut in half. One of the ways to save money in your kitchen is by not having food waste. What does that mean? That means don't let your avocados go bad. When they start getting soft, do something with them. Or when they are initially perfectly ripe, put them in the refrigerator. Stop being so wasteful. Okay, this is looking really good. Really, really good. I'm going to add a little bit of salt. I've got some kosher salt here. I really like kosher salt a lot. So I'm going to do about a teaspoon. And now I'm going to give this mofo a taste. I'm going to taste a soy curl too. I just want to make sure that it's absorbed enough liquid. Wow, it's hot. It's perfect. The flavor is so freaking good. I can't even tell you. Okay, back to this guac. So we're just gonna get all our guac in this bowl, all of our avocado in this bowl. Mess, huh? Look at my hands. Alright, I'm going to put this to the side and I'm going to mince a couple garlics. These are little guys. Alright, I'm not going to cut with that knife. That is not the best knife I have for mincing garlic. Alright, that is good enough for me. I'm throwing that in. I'm going to squeeze in this other half of lime juice that I have. This other half of lime. Your avocado, or I'm sorry, your guacamole should be a little bit acidic, very creamy. I'm going to go in with a tiny bit of salt. I really don't want this to be very salty, so I'm not going to add much. And then I'm going to start smashing. I like my guacamole to be kind of like fork smashed, you know? I don't need it to be the smoothest thing that I've ever made. But yes, you can throw your guacamole in a food processor if you'd rather. Some people like to put onions. Onions would be amazing in this. You could put tomatoes. You could put more seasoning. I'm going to throw in a tiny bit of cilantro. I'm just going to throw a little bit of that in. And I'm going to chop a little bit for the top of our soup. You know, they were too small avocados, so they didn't make a lot, that is for sure. But I really just wanted to show you guys how to do this quickly. Let me give this guy a little bit of a taste. That's very good. All right. It is time to plate because we are done. Doesn't that look good, guys? So, I'm going to add a little bit of the cilantro to the top. You could also cook this with cilantro in it. That would be great as well. I got a messy board, guys. And so I made some tortilla strips. I just threw these, just cut them into little strips, and I threw them in the oven on 400 degrees for 5 minutes. And that's what they ended up being crispy. So I'm going to throw that on top. And I made some chips. These are corn tortillas. I think the only ingredients are corn and salt. I cut them up. I threw them on a pan on 400 for 5 minutes, and then I turned them over for 2 more minutes. If you want to learn more about this, watch my video on street tacos where I teach you how to make these. Do I have a taster? Hi.
Hi.
Here's your spoon.
Thank you.
I feel like we've done this before.
I think we have.
Here you go. It's very hot. Yeah, be careful. So hot.
So lucky to have this again today.
Is it good?
Yep.
Is it good again?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to try a chip with this. Try this avocado.
I'll try it too.
That guacamole is super simple, but the flavors are fantastic. I mean, lime juice, a little garlic, a little bit of salt, avocado. It's amazing. You can do this too. I urge you, get in your kitchen, try things out. You may take your bowl, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
I urge you, get in your kitchen and try things. Just play around with stuff. Who cares if you fail? Just go do it. This is how you learn to cook. Failing is good. There, I said it. Failing is good. That's how I learn. I learn from my failures. I learn a lot from them. Anyways, I'm rambling. If you guys enjoyed this content, please give this video a like and subscribe. You could share. You could make a comment. Every way that you interact with the video promotes that show or that channel to more people. It's actually really, really important. Thank you guys so much if you stayed till the end. I love you. You're the best. I will see you next time. Bye.